Hey, good evenings. It's Monday, October 18th. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I'm going to talk about a topic for some of you. It's kind of dark. It kind of fits with the mood of the moonlit dark sky behind me. We're going to talk tonight about how to mend a broken relationship with your sibling. There are few relationships that are as significant and as important as to fix and work on and mend as those with your siblings, because they can last a lifetime. I've talked with folks that haven't talked to siblings in 20, 30 years. That's a tragedy. Christians, one important axiom as we start talking about this, and you've heard me say it before, but it's huge. The closer you get to someone, the more you understand why Jesus had to die for that person. It's true in marriage, it's true in close relationships, and it's especially true with siblings. Because you know what's going on with the other person, and you see their deviousness, or they're just, everybody else thinks they're good, you know they're not. So we get this kind of frustration and anger going on, this challenge happening. But you see, siblings have the potential to be such huge resources for each other. If you got a brother or a sister that you're not getting along with, you're throwing away an opportunity to have the person who knows you, knows the environment that you grew up with, and to be able to work with you, Lord willing, for the rest of your life. Sometimes you let something that happens right now you feel so intense about that it can damage us forever in terms of human perspective. But if we can grasp this opportunity, instead of being ruled by the tension that we feel in this relationship, we can grasp this, reach out to them, then you have a resource where the two of you can work together as one big force, or the three of you, or the four of you, or more. Mending human sibling relationships is huge, okay? I think people are going to agree with that. The question is, how do we do it? It's not quite as complicated as you might think. It starts with trusting God and knowing that God is sovereign, that He's the one that put you and your siblings together in this relationship. That's the first thing, trusting God. The second thing, responding to each other as God says. God says we need mercy and grace. And no one is going to need it more in the tension of day-to-day life than your brother or sister, your sibling. Because you know that other person knows you. You can make that as a detriment, or you can take the fact that God has sovereignly brought you together and make each other stronger, because no one knows your weaknesses better than anyone else than your sibling. If you're working together, you can work to each other. You can work to their benefit. And then the third component, consider that sibling, that pain in the rear end sibling. God says in Philippians to consider them as more important than you in humility. Doesn't mean you buy into all their problems. It just says you have that attitude towards them. And then the last thing, the fourth component, commit to love your sibling with mercy and grace. Combining a couple of these elements together here. Don't treat them as their sins deserve. Treat them as a valuable asset to be nurtured and developed and loved. Imagine if someone who knew all of your problems and loved you and helped you grow through them. What a tremendous asset that is, instead of someone who you are at odds with for the rest of your life. You can mend this relationship by knowing that God has sovereignly placed you together so that your strengths and weaknesses can be blended in such a way to have strength so that you can trust Christ in this thing and you can show mercy and grace to each other. What a lifelong blessing this will be. It won't come easy at first, but you can do it. Instead of building a wedge between you, you can build something strong between you. And can you imagine that sibling that you can't stand can become the greatest blessing in your life. And that's the promise that God gives. We can mend those relationships. They can be your greatest strength. Trust God to do what we can't do in our own strength. There's hope. There's hope in trusting God's word. Don't look to your siblings' messes. Look to God's grace. And that's the thought for tonight. Okay, give me some feedback. I'd love to interact with you on it. Because this is huge. This is one of those things that can impact you for a long, long time. God has the way. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Again, if you haven't subscribed, turn on post notifications. When you subscribe, videos will come right to you. Check us out at everydaytalk247.com. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your support. And Lord bless you this night so that you and your siblings can learn to work together to be a blessing to each other. And that is really, really cool. Again, love your thoughts. You have a great evening. And just one video tomorrow. Special day tomorrow to commemorate Lord taking Ruth home 8 years ago tomorrow. So I'll be on at 1:30. You have a great day. Bye-bye.